The afternoon sun cast long and spindly shadows across the worn wooden porch of the house in Lanford. Inside the kitchen, Dan stood near the door, exhaling a deep breath as he looked at the family members gathered around the table. "Thanks for letting Bev play, guys," he said, his voice carrying a hint of weary sarcasm. A voice from the corner quickly replied that they were not sure who he was talking to, because they certainly had not wanted her there. Bev sat perfectly still, her expression one of mild defiance. "I would have been fine at home," she insisted, her tone sharp. "But Jackie does not trust me there alone anymore." Jackie sighed, looking at her mother with a mixture of exhaustion and duty. "Mom, I went to check the mail this morning, and I saw that you had pulled up half the carpeting in my bedroom. Why on earth would you do that? Older apartments like mine sometimes have beautiful hardwood floors hidden underneath," Bev explained, as if it were the most logical thing in the world. "Do not blame me because yours did not. Check it yourself. Besides, you can always roll up a blanket and put your body in a carpet. It is just something to put in your pocket for later use." The door creaked open and Darlene walked in, her face pale and her eyes heavy with fatigue. Dan looked at his watch. "You get bad traffic again? You were getting home later and later every single night." "Yeah, I was stuck on that Dan Ryan expressway forever," Darlene sighed, dropping her bag on the counter. "I know we built that expressway to honor him, but all anybody ever says is that they were stuck on the stupid expressway." "Did the kids get dinner?" "For themselves," Dan replied. "They did not make me anything to eat." Jackie caught Darlene's eye and gestured toward the living room sofa. "Hey, Jackie, I think Harris lost one of her good earrings in the couch. Can you give me a hand looking for it?" "I did not even know Harris had any good earrings," Jackie said, standing up to help. "She does not," Darlene whispered urgently as soon as they were out of earshot. "Her ears are constantly infected. I just had to talk to somebody. I am going crazy. Oh, pretend we are looking through the couch cushions so they do not suspect anything." "What is wrong?" Jackie asked, diving into the task. "I was not on the expressway today," Darlene confessed. "I was at David's house." "Well, Tysaw, why would you lie to your dad about that?" Jackie asked. "You and David see each other all the time because of the kids." "I know," Darlene said, her voice trembling. "But today we were making out. I cannot tell my dad that I was making out with my ex-husband while I am also dating Ben." "You and David?" Jackie whispered loudly, her eyes widening. "When did this start?" "The last couple of months," Darlene said. "We just started talking about the relationship to see if we could make it work again. Then tonight we stopped talking because our tongues were in each other's mouths." "But I thought you and Ben were doing great," Jackie said, looking confused. "We are," Darlene admitted. "But you know, I still have feelings for David, and if there is a chance I can put my family back together, I have to try, right?" Jackie shook her head. "You have to give up Ben then." "Why would I do that?" Darlene asked. "Ben and I are amazing together." "Oh, it is the classic wanting of the cake followed by the ever-present eating of it, too," Jackie remarked. "How are you even having time for all this?" "I do not," Darlene said. "I am like this close to losing it. When I am supposed to be with David, I am with Ben. When I am supposed to be with Ben, I am with David. When I am supposed to be with the kids, I am with Ben or David." "You are right on the verge of having sex with both of them," Jackie noted. "No, no way," Darlene insisted. "I cannot go any further with David while I am still seeing Ben. I cannot sleep with two guys. I am not that person. Let me tell you," Jackie said with a distant look, "I have been that person before, and it can be a nightmare. A fantastic nightmare, but a nightmare nonetheless." Just then, Becky walked into the room, her steps slow and heavy. "Hey, guys," she said tiredly. "Hey, Crazy is back," Dan greeted her warmly. "Hey, little mama. Wow, you are getting big. Is that baby moving yet?" "Not yet," Becky replied, rubbing her stomach. "But she is watching the papers for a younger uterus in a better neighborhood." "What is up?" Darlene asked. "Aunt Jackie asked me to come by and go over a birth plan she made for me," Becky said, holding up a massive stack of papers. "I was expecting a page or two, but I got the encyclopedia in Seneca instead. Aunt Jackie is just looking for something to give meaning to her life," Darlene joked. "You just happened to be in the station when the crazy train pulled in. Tag, you are it. I am cashing out." "No way," Dan said. "I have been losing to her all night. She wants to leave, so it is a win for me." "Did you read my birth plan?" Jackie asked Becky eagerly. "I tried," Becky said, sitting down with a sigh. "It is just too much. Cannot we just go over this later? I am not due for 2 more months." "But everything in here is important," Jackie insisted. "Having soft lights and calming music and putting the baby on your chest, so there is a surge of oxytocin and she bonds to you. I have even got a whole chapter on infant car seats." "I just do not know what all the fuss is about," Bev chimed in from the corner. "In my day, we wrapped the baby in a napkin and took it home in our purse." "Mom, you are confusing childbirth with stealing muffins from a restaurant," Jackie snapped. "Fine," Bev grumbled. "So that is where all the glasses are. Yesterday, I had to drink milk out of a shot glass." Harris walked into the room, looking bored and disinterested. "Sorry, I try not to come down here," she said. "It is like a public bathroom at the mall. I just want to get in and out and not make eye contact with anyone." "Harris, you should be a part of this," Darlene said. "One day you might have a baby, and you will want to know this stuff." "Pass," Harris replied. "I am not having any kids." "And why not?" Bev asked. "It is a different time, Nana," Harris said. "You do not have to have a bunch of kids to give your life meaning anymore." "Good luck getting a man with that attitude," Bev muttered. Suddenly, Becky gasped, her eyes widening in shock. "Crap, I think I just peed myself. It is not stopping." Jackie's face went pale. "Becky, I think your water broke." "Oh no," Becky whispered. "No, no, 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 no." "Oh really, Becky?" Bev said. "It is much too soon. You never disappoint." Dan, Darlene shouted toward the other room. "We are heading to the hospital right now. Becky's water broke." "Damn," Dan said, grabbing his keys. "I will drive. Let us go." "This is not happening," Becky cried as they ushered her toward the car. "I have 2 more months to live before this was supposed to happen." "Harris, we do not have time," Darlene called back. "Clean that up, would you?" "This is why I do not come down here," Harris complained to the empty room. At the hospital, the sounds of machines and busy staff filled the corridors. Becky lay on a gurney, breathing heavily. "Oh, the contractions are getting closer," she gasped. "Why are they not taking me in yet? We have to stop this." "Dad is getting a nurse," Darlene reassured her. "As soon as he gets one, they are going to give you something to stop the contractions. And until then, we are going to do some visualization exercises to stay calm." "So, baby does not want to come out. Baby is happy where it is." "The baby is moving," Becky shouted. "The baby is moving like crazy. That is not working." "Okay, well then, we will just talk to the baby," Jackie said, leaning close to Becky's stomach. "Sweetheart, hi. It is your Aunt Jackie and Mommy. And we just want you to know there is no rush. There is no money for college yet. And your daddy has been deported to Mexico. And there is alcohol addiction in your genetic background. You are freaking the baby out." Becky yelled. "Next person, please." Dan stood at the front desk, looking frustrated. Are you having chest pains, a sudden rash, or breathing issues? The receptionist asked without looking up. All those, but it is not for me, Dan snapped. My daughter has been sitting there for 30 minutes. Her water broke, but the baby is not due for 2 more months. Have her fill this out, the woman said, handing him a clipboard. We will get to her as fast as we can. No, Dan said, pushing the clipboard back. You take her in, and I will fill out the forms while she is in there. I want somebody to see her now. Forms first, care second, the woman replied flatly. How about I wheel her back there myself, and you try and stop me? Dan threatened. An orderly stepped forward quickly. Orderly, take the geriatric pregnancy into a room. Please, the woman called out. Geriatric? Becky yelled from her seat. You are so lucky that I cannot get up and come over there, because the baby would fall out of me. The next morning, Ben walked into Darlene's office. Hey, he said softly. You did not have to come in today. You were at the hospital all night. Oh, I missed you. I missed you, too, Darlene said, giving him a quick hug. How is Becky? Ben asked. They are still waiting to see if the medication will stop the contractions completely, Darlene explained. My dad and Jackie are there now. But actually, I looked over some stuff in the waiting room. There is a typo in the proofs of the magazine. My work does not have typos, Ben teased. Oh, could you do me a huge favor and run down to the coffee shop and get me another cup of coffee with agave? And on the off chance that the shop does not have agave, is there another exotic plant that you will accept? Darlene joked. Yes, I will take black tar heroin, Ben replied with a laugh. Got it, Darlene said. As soon as Ben left, Darlene's phone rang. She answered it quickly. Hey, David. I am at work. What is up? Yeah, that would be really sweet. I will come by and pick you up, and we can both go to the hospital together. Okay, love you too. Ben walked back and just then, looking surprised. Daddy? I have never heard you call your dad Daddy before. Yeah, I am feeling very fragile right now, Darlene lied quickly. I need my daddy. Oh, Ben said. I just forgot the wallet on the back counter. Oh, you know what? I do not need another cup of coffee. I am already vibrating. All right, I gotta be honest. I am worried about you. You look exhausted. Yeah, it is that stupid expressway, Darlene said. That is the problem. Oh, we both know what the solution is, Ben said, taking her hand. You move in with me. You know those signs that say if you lived here, you would be home and having fun with Ben by now. You would be home and having fun with Ben by now. I love you, you know, Darlene said, but I just really cannot think about this right now. Okay, tabled for another time, Ben conceded. At least let me just drive you back to the hospital and keep you company. No, you know what? That is so sweet, but it is just too many people at the hospital, Darlene said. When you are expecting a preemie, they give you a smaller room. Darlene went home later to grab some things for her sister. How is Aunt Becky? Harris asked. Pretty much the same, Darlene said. I am just going to grab some stuff for her and run back to the hospital. Okay, do you want me to save you some kale salad? Listen, let me tell you about kale, Bev said, appearing in the doorway. In the old days, you would go to the cafeteria, and it was the green stuff that kept the ice from touching the cottage cheese. It is all hype. You do not go from garnish to superfood overnight. I feel so stupid. I fell for it, Harris muttered. Suddenly, a knock came at the door. Dan answered it. Hi, how can I help you? I am looking for Harris Healy's mother, the man said. She is not home from work yet, but I am the grandfather. What can I do for you? Your granddaughter goes to school with my son, the man said, and she sold him a homemade pot cookie. Dan sighed. Okay, I can kind of believe she sold him pot, but I do not believe she baked anything. Believe it, the man said. Kyle freaked out, and I was up all night trying to reassure him that time was not standing still. Yeah, stuff does get on top of you, Dan admitted. Listen, I am really sorry. We would never want that to happen to any kid. You tell her I had to take him to urgent care, the man continued. I am out $200, and I needed to pay for my tattoo removal. My new husband cannot handle looking at my ex-husband's face while he is behind me. Your first husband liked looking at his own face? Dan asked. It was a red flag I ignored, okay? The man snapped. I am really sorry. I cannot help you with the money, Dan said. I do not have it. All right. Well, maybe I will just take something worth $200, the man said, looking around. I will come back Kai when the mother is home. He walked out just as Darlene was coming in. Hey, are you Harris Healy's mother? He asked. Because if you are, you owe me money. Nope, Darlene said, slipping past him. Well, tell her I will be back. The man yelled. I will. You have a blessed day, Darlene called out. She turned to Dan. What the hell was that all about? You got a problem, Dan said. Your daughter is selling pot cookies at school. What? Darlene asked. How come when I get home, it is never because somebody got a scholarship? Where is Harris? At the hospital, Dan said. Damn, what is wrong? They could not stop the labor, Dan explained. The baby is coming now. All right, we gotta get going before Bev wraps it in a napkin and puts it in her purse. Back at the hospital, Becky was in the delivery room. Okay, just one more push, the doctor said. I cannot. Becky cried. You can, Jackie encouraged her. It is a preemie. It is small. One more push. Becky gave one final effort and then fell back, gasping. Oh my God. She is here, she whispered. Nurse. The doctor called out. Is she okay? Becky asked, panicked. Why is she not crying? You did great, Jackie said. Just rest for a second. Why are they not putting her on my chest? Becky asked. This is exactly what is supposed to happen, Jackie explained. They are going to take her to the intensive care unit. I want to see her, Becky cried. Just let them do their jobs, Darlene said softly. It is okay. Does she look normal? Becky asked. Yes, Jackie said. Then why cannot I see her? Because she is very small, Jackie said. She cannot be seen by the naked eye. This is all my fault, Becky sobbed. I am too old. I drank too much. That is why she was born too early. No, come on, Darlene said. Do not do that, Becky. You know what? I did everything right with Harris, and she was a preemie, and she turned out fine. No, she did not, Becky whispered. In the waiting room, Bev was looking around. The county emergency room always reminds me of that scene in the movie Gone with the Wind with all the soldiers laying on the ground, dying, she remarked. Frankly, I did not care for the cursing at the end of that movie. Dan and Darlene walked out to meet the family. Okay, the baby is here, Dan announced. Are Becky and the baby okay? Jackie asked. Becky is fine, Darlene said. The baby was not breathing on her own, but they put her on a ventilator, and now she is stable. Thank God, Jackie breathed. Can we go back there now? Becky is pretty upset, Dan said, but she has got Jackie in there with her, so it is probably going to get worse. He turned to Harris. You are not going anywhere. What? Harris asked. You are selling pot cookies at school? Are you stupid? Darlene asked. Are we really going to do this right here? Harris sighed. Yes, we are, Darlene said. Kyle's mom came by. She had to take him to urgent care. I told him only half a cookie, Harris muttered. This is not about Kyle's inability to maintain his composure, Darlene snapped. This is about you selling drugs. Oh my God, Harris said. They're going to be selling pot to everybody here in 3 months. Nobody cares. And it is not like I am eating it. What? Dan said. Hey, you cannot eat, no, you cannot sell, no, and you are underage. And by the way, who are you getting the weed from? It is everywhere, Harris said. Everybody is selling it. Honestly, know that Sue Tuet voy that I am doing so well. My hustle is putting it in cookies and adding cardamom. It is exotic and a little unexpected. You are actually bragging about this? Darlene asked. Do you realize if Kyle's mom had called the police, you would be sitting in jail right now? You are going to give me all the money you made from this. I am taking your phone away, and you are not leaving the house for the rest of the semester. Oh, wow, Harris said. I am grounded. Like you are going to know if I am even home. You are never around. You really think it hurts me pointing out that I am not a good mother? Darlene asked. Like water off a duck's back, baby. Dan turned to Bev. Bev, he said. Yes, Dan. It has been a long day, so please do not take this the wrong way. But why are you here? Everybody has got to be somewhere, Bev replied. I have had a crappy day, Dan sighed. Becky was afraid to see the baby, but now she wants to, so I gotta go back to the hospital. There is pie, Bev said. I got enough for everybody. God bless you, Dan said. I was wondering where you were. I am only asking because it has been just me and Bev here for hours. Hours, Bev agreed. Did you know that Kai, when Jackie was born, she caused my bladder to drop? You had to say that now, didn't you? Jackie said as she walked in. Well, I'm not going to let you ruin this for me. No offense, Dan, but I do not like to watch you eat. Darlene looked at her father. You enjoying that pie, Dad? Smells great, huh? Yep, Dan said. Love the smell of apple pie. So you can smell apple pie, Darlene said, but you cannot smell the smell of pot cookies baking in your own house. What? Dan asked. How did you not know what Harris was doing? Whoa, Dan said. You are going to blame your kids selling drugs on me? Yes, I am, Darlene said, because you are here and I am not. Whose fault is that? Dan asked. I am working, Darlene replied. Oh, are you? Dan asked. Because you are getting home at 10 o'clock. I do not know if you are with Ben or what you are doing, but you are definitely not coming straight home from work every night. Oh, so I am not allowed to have a personal life? Darlene asked. Because I remember, Kai, when I was a kid, you would go straight from work to the lounge, you would have a beer, then you would come home and you would say, there are my girls, and then you would go to the garage to fix a bike. Hey, I worked very hard day and night to support this family, Dan said, and I was always there, Kai, when it counted. You need to get your head in the game and raise your kids. I already raised mine. Oh, did you though? Darlene asked. Because I am pretty sure it is Mom who raised us. No, Dan said softly. If we are going to be honest, the television did. Later, in the hospital, Becky stood by the glass, looking at the tiny baby. How is she doing? Darlene asked. Oh, every now and then. Kai, when she is trying to move her little arms, she punches herself in the head, Becky said with a tearful smile. She is definitely a member of this family. Oh, another member of the family in the world, Darlene said. What we do not have in quality, we make up in volume. Darn right we do, Dan agreed. Grammy Becky is here to see her baby. Are you ready? I think so, Becky said. Oh my God. She is so tiny. Look at all the tubes. I know. It looks scary, Darlene said, but all those things in there are helping her get stronger. She is looking at me, Becky whispered. Yeah, of course she is, Jackie said. You are her mom. I am her mom, Becky repeated. Have you decided on a name yet? Jackie asked. You know, the name Jacqueline means may God protect. We could call her Jackie Jr. That would be so cute, right? Her name is Beverly Rose, Becky said firmly. I wanted a connection with the family. Becky, Jackie said, I want you to know that I will always love this baby. But I consider it a personal attack and a negation of my entire childhood of pain that you have named this precious angel after the vessel of evil that is my mother. Enough said. Come on, everyone. Let these two get to know each other better. You need anything, Becky? No, we are fine. Thanks, Becky said. Darlene walked into her bedroom later that night and stopped. I am so sorry, a voice said. See, it is even better Kai when you wait for it. I am going to go get the pizza. Oh, Darlene gasped. What? Jackie asked, appearing in the doorway. Was that naked man in your bed, David? Shoo. Yes, Darlene whispered. What are you doing here? I needed a night away from Bev, Jackie explained. Well, this is great. You finally made a decision. You broke up with Ben. Well, that sure would have made things simpler, Darlene sighed. Wait, Jackie's eyes widened. You were sleeping with both of them? I thought you were not that kind of person. Well, apparently I am, Darlene said, sitting on the edge of the bed. I set a boundary, and I crossed it. I am so stupid. Why did I do that? You gotta help me, Jackie. Well, if somebody took Ben off your hands, would that? Jackie started. Stay away from him, Darlene hissed. Okay. Good night, Jackie said, backing away. Good night, Darlene replied. Back at the hospital, Dan and Becky looked at the baby. A brand new member of the family, Dan said. Let us learn from the mistakes of our past. Oh, I agree, Becky said. You know what? Let us raise her to expect nothing so she is never disappointed. Or we can tell her she can be whatever she wants to be, Dan suggested. That is a mean joke to play on a baby, Becky laughed. What if we never tell her who her family is, but we will raise her like Moses or Tarzan? Dan joked. Oh yeah, like Tarzan, Becky said. But instead of holding onto a vine, she can hold onto a job. Quick, let us go tell Becky before she fills out the birth certificate, Dan said. This is for Kai when you come home. You know Tarzan, you family.